Hello everybody, how are you doing? My name is Jacki Jing. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be talking about the best anime on Hulu. Okay, so if you're coming to my channel for the first time, hi again, Jacki Jing here. I'm on all the different social media, but please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that little notification bell. I'm super nerdy. I absolutely love talking about anime, nerdy TV shows, nerdy movies. Typically I do a lot of trailer reactions on here, but since we are dealing with the COVID pandemic and many of us are stuck at home, I thought that it'd be great to give you guys some anime suggestions since I love anime. There's my library right there. That's like all my anime. I love it. Anyway, so let's get right to it. And I just am being straight up here. Hulu has an amazing library of content. There's a lot of different streaming platforms out there. Crunchyroll and Funimation is definitely where I think you can get most of like the new titles. And if you're really a deep, passionate anime enthusiast, it's almost ridiculous not to have a subscription to either of those because they just have amazing content and really work really hard to get like the latest anime to us as soon as possible. But Hulu and Netflix have been expanding their library, but Hulu has almost been kind of, and Amazon, don't sleep on Amazon, okay? I'm going to talk about that in another video. But Hulu has a really impressive library. It just has some really old classic ones that I haven't seen for a while. So honestly, I feel like if you're just trying to get into anime, this is the platform that you want to be on, frankly, because it has so many of the classics. So anyway, let's get to it. Gonna put the phone on silent. I swear to God, every time I do one of these videos, everyone starts to want to text me. But anyways, okay, let's get right to it. And I decided not to put these in numerical order. I'm doing it in alphabetical order. And since I had 20 anime that I wanted to recommend, I'm going to be breaking this up into 2 videos. So let's get right to it. I'm sorry I've been talking a lot, but let's begin with Basilisk. So Basilisk is supposed to be loosely based on Ninja Scroll. And if you haven't seen Ninja Scroll before, also available on Hulu, but you got to see it. I mean, I don't care if you're into anime or if you're not. It's just one of those like over-the-top ridiculous 90s anime where it's extremely gory and all the characters have like giant shoulders and their waists are like this big and they have like really defined like jaws and they're just look amazing. I absolutely love 90s animation. But yes, it's supposed to be loosely an adaptation from the Ninja Scroll story. God, I can't talk today. I'm sorry. And it is a fascinating story about these ninja clans and their war against each other. And so you see a lot of the incredible powers that these ninjas have that you saw in Ninja Scroll, but it is amplified like times 20, 30, 40, times 100, whatever, because now we're in modern times and the animation is off the chain. I mean, like you thought Ninja Scroll's animation was good, wait till you see what Basilisk does. And it's just a heart-wrenching story. It's a tragic love story, and it's just about just things that we see with these kind of like Romeo and Juliet stories, where it's just like people just can't get over little things and it causes so much hatred for no reason. And I promise you that this one will tug at your heartstrings and visually it's just going to absolutely stun you. So Basilisk. Okay. Number 2 on the list is Black Lagoon. And I love Black Lagoon because the main character is just the coolest chick ever. I mean, she's like wearing a crop top, she's got tattoos, she's got the combat boots, and she puts up with no one, if you know what I mean. And she's got like this sidekick character you essentially think is like the main character of the story, which I guess he kind of is, but he's just kind of like gotten thrown into this crazy adventure with this like pretty hard-ass merc. And yeah, like you're just seeing him kind of getting like dragged along for this merc's like really intense adventures. And it deals with like warring crime syndicates and just like straight up violent missions, and has one of the best action scenes I've ever seen in my life between that main female character and a nun. I mean, I think that's enough said. Like any like extremely awesome battle with a nun involved, I mean, you got to see it, right? So Black Lagoon is definitely on the list. Okay, and then I have Cowboy Bebop on there. I have a Cowboy Bebop tattoo. Not trying to like show off my side or anything, but I mean, like, this one is near and dear to my heart. If you don't watch anime ever in your life, you don't want to watch anime, but you can somehow slip one series into your life, you got to watch Cowboy Bebop. This is just such an atypical story for me because we have so many central characters that are so flawed and dealing with so much trauma. And it's not like Neon Genesis Evangelion where it's like their trauma is like just it's so hard to watch and excruciating and you're like, oh my god, like their trauma, like I'm feeling their trauma. It's powerful trauma, but it's just like they aren't dealing with it by like being over the top. Like they're all like kind of holding on to all this pain internally, and it's just like painful, and you see it come out in different ways. So you're saying like, geez, Jacki, why would I want to watch such a painful anime? Okay, it's a group of misfits who've gone through some beep, to say the least, and they are having wild adventures in the wild west, which is basically space, and there's aliens involved, and there's spaceships, and there's mecha, but then there's like this western feel, and then it involves like crime syndicates. There's this terrible love triangle. I mean, like, literally somehow Shinichiro Watanabe packed all of this powerful storytelling into 26 episodes. Shit, I'll have to look that up later. Anyway, it's not. It's a short season. You know what I mean? It's a short anime. It's not terribly long. We're not talking about like 50 plus episodes, or don't even get me on One Piece. That's like 900 plus episodes. But yeah, like it's a compact story, and it's fabulous. It's well done. Okay, next on the list I have Demon Slayer, which is pretty new, and I really like Demon Slayer because at first I was like, oh god, this is pretty typical, and I feel like I've seen this anime before, but then I really became kind of intrigued with the layers of this organization that he's in that fights demons, and we haven't been able to see, unless you read the manga, but if you read the anime, like, you're only beginning to see the beginnings of this organization that fights demons, and I just kind of want to, one, find out more about this organization, but two, no spoilers here, see how he helps his sister, okay? I ain't gonna say anything more than that. I ain't trying to spoil anything for anyone. Though I did talk about the nun in Black Lagoon, but I don't think that's a major spoiler. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, so for Demon Slayer, I've just become so hooked on, like, how is this guy gonna pull this off? And what is this world? Like, I've become intrigued by this world and this demon organization. And this isn't like a Soul Eater demon organization or like Castlevania. It's got this very like Shogun feel to it, and the demons, you can tell, are like really trapped in bad situations that I don't know if they entirely want to be in, and they've also had like trauma to put them in the places where they're at. So I've just become very intrigued with the Demon Slayer world. Also, great animation, great action, and I'm gonna be honest, like, that's gonna be a reoccurring theme in all the anime that I'm talking about. Okay, so we're at 8 minutes. Keep on going here. Okay, Elfen Lied, or Lied, I don't quite know the pronunciation of it. I had a debate with someone about it over this weekend. However, you want to say it, okay? This is 12 episodes long, and it is absolute aree. That's all I can say. Like, it is just absolutely that. Like, that's it. Like, you start watching, you're like, okay, cool. And then the next thing you know, your eyes are like falling out of your head, and you're like, what is happening? This is so violent. This is so gory. Why is she doing this? What the hell happened to her? And then she ends up like partially in like what seems like a slice of life anime gone totally effing wrong. And it's 12 episodes long. It's just like the whole thing keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's one of those that I binge watched in a day. Like, you're just going to want to see, like, how is this going to end? What the hell is this girl's problem? And it's the gore in it is pretty freaking intense. Like, they people up in this one. And again, just like kind of like another story about people being misunderstood. And and then becoming very, very damaged because they're misunderstood. But again, no spoilers. I ain't gonna go much farther than that, but it's a fun ride. That is probably one of the funnest anime I've ever watched. Like, I literally was like hooked, line and sinker, and just watched the whole thing. I was just like, I can't stop. Ergo Proxy, I hold near and dear to my heart because it is probably the last anime that my brother recommended to me before he passed away. And I immediately saw it and I wrote it on this list because it deals a lot with depression and I think like social anxiety in a way, and just like dealing with that, and then just also getting close to people. And that might not sound terribly interesting, but just throw all of that in a post-apocalyptic world where corporations have like absolutely like destroyed the planet, for lack of a better word, and you have this like group of misfits just trying their best to like make do with what's left. And it's, though it's depressing, you're like, how are they going to get through this? And the two main characters are just really interesting. First of all, the female protagonist in it like looks like she should be in a metal band, which automatically you're just like, dope, she's cool. And I remember with the male protagonist, I felt like he was a little bit whiny, which we get a lot in anime. But just, you know, like, I feel like he just felt so helpless in such a bad situation, which was also very relatable. And I think that's why my brother related to him a lot too. Because I remember him saying like, hey, I related to him in a lot of ways. So I think that there's just these characters with some darkness that you'll find really relatable. Food Wars. Let's get fun in here, right? I've been talking about like trauma and depression for like the last few titles. Food Wars. You want to throw something on in the back? Well, I take that back. I mistakenly watched Food Wars on a treadmill when I was working out. Obviously not during COVID. This was a few months ago. And lo and behold, like, these people eat food and then they have like literally sexual reactions to it. Like, it looks like hentai, except not 100% hentai, but like they eat some chicken and they're like, oh my god, I love this chicken, and they like go over the top. And it's in every single episode. And you might be thinking, why the hell would I want to watch that? Is because it's just so funny because it's related to food. They're eating food and they're having these absurd reactions. But that's not what the anime is focused on. It is focused on these young chefs and how they're dealing with their insecurities and their weaknesses and becoming higher level chefs. And it's actually incredibly attractive. Like, you find yourself like really getting into seeing how they become successful and who falls and who does well, and how they all deal with confidence issues. Like, some are overly confident, some really are insecure. So it's a fun one. It's very, very funny because it has like those reaction scenes I was talking about, but then also has some depth to it because you see them dealing with all these other issues too. All right, so the last one on the part 1 list of best shows to watch on Hulu is Fooly Cooly. And Fooly Cooly, oh man, this is another short one. And I'll be honest, people love Fooly Cooly. The female protagonist is just like absolutely bonkers and so freaking cool, so I get it. But for me, it was more like the animation just like took me to another world. And it's funny because it's kind of like in normal times, but it's just animated so beautifully that you just get transported. And I personally didn't think the story was like, whoa, this is so freaking awesome. But I watched it because I watched it through because it was short, and because I just thought visually it was so stunning, and I hadn't really seen anything like it. So I would definitely put that on your list just because it's so short and it's so beautiful and it's a nice little story. To me, it doesn't have the depth of the anime that I talked about earlier on the list, but it's a fun one. So, okay, we are at 15 minutes roughly for this video. I'm going to talk about the other half whenever I post the next one, so you'll see when I post it. But again, really hope that you enjoyed my personal breakdown of the best titles on Hulu. And I want to know, do you agree, or did you think some of the stuff I talked about was pure shite? Can I say that? Shite? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So let me know. And again, Jacki, Jing, follow me on all the socials. I got my Discord server on here too. You know, I'm always down to chat about this stuff. So, all right. See you later. Bye.